Hello and welcome to the 7th lesson in English for grade 8. During lesson 6, we started some activities related to the unit 2 winged friends. So during this lesson also we will be doing several activities in the unit 2. So I hope you are ready with your workbook and the pupils book along with a writing book to start the lesson. So as the first activity for today, we will be doing activity 2.1 in your English pupils book. It will be in page 12. So you may turn to page 12. So as usual, if we see what are the learning outcomes of this activity, you, the students, will be able to read different types of texts accurately and meaningfully. So if you recall regarding this learning outcome, you might remember that we have already done several exercises which captures this outcome. So again we are trying to do an activity which we are going to read so that we make sure that you can read different types of texts accurately, which means correctly and meaningfully. So in this lesson we were talking about winged friends, that means about some birds. So we are going to read a different type compared to the previous reading activities. So please turn to page 12 where you will see an act out. Right. So before reading this act out by myself, as usual, I will be giving you 5 minutes to read this act out by yourself and try to see whether you can understand what is there. So please take 5 minutes and then I will read it, and maybe we can do some exercises related to this. Okay, so I hope you might have read the act out by yourself, and let me read it for you so that you can see whether the way you read is correct or whether there should be some improvement. Jeevaka and Yasit are very good friends. One day, they watched a very interesting TV program on birds at Jeevaka's house. I hope you can understand this, that there were two friends and they were watching a very interesting TV program on birds. So let's see what they discussed. It was a very interesting program, wasn't it? It was indeed. I learned many new things about birds. That's true. This was the first time I've heard the names of certain birds. Do you remember the beautiful white bird with a crest? It was very beautiful, wasn't it? Yes, you mean the kagu? It's sad that it can't fly. So in this part, you might have come across with this word crest. Note down this word crest and we will see what does this mean. By the way, would you like to know more about birds? Of course, they are beautiful creatures. I wish I could be as free as a bird and fly high in the sky. Haha, mind you, not all birds can fly. Really? Are there many flightless birds? Let's go to my room. I've got something to show you. So here you may note the word flightless. What is it? This is my sister's scrapbook. She is a member of the School Zoologists Association. She has many scrapbooks. This one's on birds in Sri Lanka, both local and migrant. Wow, it's so beautiful. Yes, she has a lot of other books too. You know, Yasit, she wants to become an ornithologist. So here you may note the word ornithologist. So it says she wants to become an ornithologist. So it means she wants to become someone. So let's see what does this mean. What? I didn't get it. Well, that is a person who studies about birds. Ah, that's wonderful. Okay, so I hope you got the answer for the ornithologist. So ornithologist is a person who studies about birds. So there are a couple of more words which we noted down. So next we will see what are these words really mean. Okay, so now we will move on to activity 2.2 in your English pupils book, which is the activity after the act out. So you can refer to page 13. Before moving on to the activity, let's see what you are going to learn here. So students will be able to find specific information from various types of texts. So we read a text a little while ago, and now we are going to find specific information. Okay, so let's look at activity 2.2 in your page 13 and see what we have to do. Okay, so this is the part A in the activity. Are the following statements true or false? So what we have to do is we will have to see whether the given sentences or the statements are true or false according to the act out we read. So let's see what are these sentences. First one, Yasit said that the program was not interesting. Sentence 2. Yasit had heard earlier the names of all the birds that were shown in the program. Sentence 3. Kagu is a flightless bird. Number 4. Jivaka's sister is a member of the school zoologists association. Sentence 5. Jivaka has many scrapbooks on different types of animals. Okay, so I think you can recall the act out we read little while ago, and maybe even if you do not remember, you may refer to the act out which we read and try to figure out whether these statements are true or false. I will give you 2 minutes to see whether these sentences are true and false, and then we will discuss the answer. So please take 2 minutes and find whether these statements are true or false. Okay, so I hope you might have found the answers. So let's discuss the answers. Okay, so let's discuss the answers. Check whether the answers you have got are correct or not. So the first sentence, Yasit said that the program was not interesting. Is it true or false? It is false. Why? Because Yasit said that the program was interesting. Second sentence. Yasit had heard earlier the names of all the birds that were shown in the program. So it is false. Why? Because Yasit said that there were some birds which he had never heard of. Third sentence. Kagu is a flightless bird. Is it true or false? Yes, it is true. Kagu is a flightless bird. Sentence 4. Jivaka's sister is a member of the school zoologists association. Yes, it is true. Jivaka said she is a member of school zoologists association. Sentence 5. Jivaka has many scrapbooks on different types of animals. This is false. Why? Because Jivaka said his sister has many scrapbooks. It is his sister who has many scrapbooks. Okay, so I hope you got all these correct. And now let's move on to part B. Okay, so this is part B of the activity. Match the following words or phrases with their meaning. So I hope you might remember that when I was reading the act out, I said that we will see the meaning of some of the words like crest, flightless, migrant, scrapbook, ornithologist. So now we are going to find what is the meaning of these 5 words. Okay. Crest. So if you recall, Jivaka and Yasit was talking about a bird without a crest. And flightless, Kagu is a flightless bird. Migrant, they talked about migrant. Scrapbook, Jivaka's sister had many scrapbooks. And ornithologist, Jivaka's sister wants to become an ornithologist. So here the meaning was also discussed. So can you just try to see what can be the correct meaning out of these 5 which matches to these 5 words. So I will just read the meanings as well. A collection of pictures and articles, etc. So this etc, it is etc, which means there can be some more like pictures and articles. A person who studies about birds. A growth of feathers at the top of a bird's head. Not able to fly. A bird or animal that travels regularly from one part of the world to another. So you can read these 5 words and also the meanings again and try to match what crest means, what flightless means. So just take 2 minutes and try to match these, and then we will discuss the answers. Okay, so I hope you might have found the answers. So let's check the correct answers. Crest. Did you find the answer? So Jeevak and Yasit were talking about a bird who was not having a crest. So out of the given 5 meanings, what is something which we can say that a bird has? A bird has a crest, a bird does not have a crest. What is it? So it is a growth of feathers at the top of a bird's head. That means there will be some feathers grown on top of a bird's head. So if there is such growth, we call it a crest, or else we can say a bird has a crest, or else a bird does not have a crest. The second word, flightless. What do we mean by flightless? Flight means fly. So less. So whenever when we add the part less to a particular word, it means it cannot do that particular thing. So in this case, flightless. So that means cannot fly. Yes. So the meaning would be not able to fly. Migrant. So maybe you might have heard this word migrant. Maybe your friends, your relatives might have migrated to other countries. So what does this migrant means? In this case, since we are talking about birds, we have to have an answer related to birds. So it is a bird or animal that travels regularly from one part of the world to another. Right. The fourth word, scrapbook. So it is kind of a book. So what it can be? A collection of pictures and articles, etc. So a scrapbook means it is a book which contains different pictures, different articles, different details related to a particular topic. And then finally, ornithologist. So I hope this one was really easy, because already in the act out at the end this was explained. So ornithologist is a person who studies about birds. Okay, so I think now you learned the correct meaning of these 5 words. So let's move on to another activity. So we'll turn to the workbook for the next activity. So it is the first activity in Unit 2, which is in page 8. So please turn your English workbook to page 8. So first, as usual, we will see what we are going to learn from this activity. Learning outcome is going to be students will be able to write descriptions of people, places, things and animals. So what do we mean by descriptions? That is something written in order to explain or give details regarding something. So we are going to write some information, some things related to people, places, things and animals. So in this particular activity, what we are going to write is information or descriptions related to animals and specifically birds. Okay, so let's look what we need to do in this activity. So we'll read the question. Get into groups. Copy the following diagram in 6 papers. Find information about the following birds and complete the diagrams. So you are given 6 birds, 6 types of birds. Ceylon jungle fowl, Ceylon jungle fowl, or else we can call them also as Valikukula, or else in Tamil Kattu Koli. Second bird, Ceylon rufus babbler, Ceylon rufus babbler, that is Demalicha, or else we can name him in Tamil Urkuruvi. Third bird is ostrich, ostrich. Fourth bird, swan. Fifth bird, eagle. Sixth bird, hanging parrot. So these are the 6 birds about which you need to find information. So you can use any source. You may use the internet or any books which you have which contains information about birds, and see who are these birds. And you need to write the information related to these 6 birds according to the diagram given below in your book. So this is the diagram given to you in the book. So let's see what you will have to write. So first you need to name the bird, or you need to include the name of the bird, and then you need to say color. What are the colors of the particular bird? Physical features. So there can be different physical features related to different birds. And then what sort of food they consume. And if you can find any other special features or facts. And also you need to include the habitat. So what do we mean by habitat? Is where we can find these animals living. So you need to write, or you need to find information related to these 6 birds who were given, and you should include the information. So this will take time, so you can do this as a homework. Since we cannot have groups, you maybe need to work by yourself, or maybe you can get assistance from someone at your home and try to fill this. So here I have done one example just for you to understand what you need to write for each circle. So I have given information related to the Ceylon jungle fowl, Valikukula, or else Kattu Koli. So first, if we look into the name, I have written the name, and then I need to find what are their colors. So I searched this in the internet and I got this information. So males, they have a reddish, that means some color related to red, reddish orange to yellow in color, whereas females different shades of brown in color. And then we needed to find physical features. We need to see what are the physical features. So for males, a red comb or a crest. So you can remember what is a crest. It is a growth of feathers on top of head. So males have a growth at the top of their heads which is red in color and a yellow patch in the center. So in the crest they have a patch of yellow color. Females, black markings and buff bands on top. So they have some markings on the top. And then we had to find what are the foods they consume. So here I was able to find that they have plant matters such as grain, seeds, berries, flowers, leaves and buds. Invertebrates such as termites, crickets, beetles, centipedes. So the Ceylon jungle fowl is not only eating food which is from plants, but they also eat small insects. So all these who I have listed here, termites, crickets, beetles and centipedes, these are small insects. And then we needed to find any other special features. So I was able to find that they always scratching the ground for food. So they keep scratching the ground. Female lays 2 to 4 eggs on nests abandoned by other birds or squirrels. So females lay eggs, but they don't make nests. They use the nests which have been abandoned, or abandoned means I do not use it anymore. So any other bird who has stopped using the nests, those are used by the females to lay egg. And then we had to find what are the habitat. So that means in what sort of areas do these birds live. So they live in forests and coastal scrub to mountain rainforests. So they can be in areas, in coastal areas, which means near to sea, or else even in mountain rainforests, or else even in cultivated areas. That means the areas which are cultivated by people. That means they are doing agriculture in these areas. So I hope with this example now you are clear what you are supposed to find related to these birds. So the second part of this activity is something like this. Let's say, find information about one of the above birds and prepare a pamphlet including colorful pictures. Present your pamphlet to other groups and share your findings. So maybe we might not be able to do it as groups, but as I said, even for the previous activity, you can do this at home and maybe present to your family or friends who are nearby and show what you have found on these birds. So what you need to prepare is a pamphlet. So what does this pamphlet mean? So here I have shown a couple of examples. So it is a book, it is a kind of a book in which you have information related to the birds. So it can be 5 birds, 10 birds, and sometimes you can include more details like this, or else you can include a little bit of information. So maybe you can try by yourself to find about the birds which were given in the previous activity, and then to come up with a pamphlet including the information of those 6 birds. So try to do this by yourself at home, which will improve your knowledge on birds as well as your vocabulary or the words in English related to the birds. So try this also at home. With this, we end up the lesson for today. So if we look into what we discussed today, first we made sure that we can read different types of texts accurately and meaningfully by reading an act out. And then we did a couple of exercises on finding specific information from various types of texts. So we saw whether some statements are true or false, and then we found the meaning of few words or phrases. And the last thing we learned was to write descriptions of animals. In this specific case, it is birds. So we saw how we should write descriptions of birds. So now you have couple of homeworks related to this outcome, in which you need to find the information of the birds and then to draw the diagram which was given, and also you need to prepare a pamphlet. So please do this homework, and then we'll meet for the next lesson. Thank you.